First of all, I would like to send my greetings to lecturer Ky Sokheng, and of course to our dear classmates. My name is Vicheka, and I'll be joining with Sereyrith in covering up consumers' behaviors influences on chapter 2. In this topic, we'll get a grasp of what consumers do that many people find interesting, and what they want to do and why they do so. Once you understand why, we can predict the behavior of our consumers. As we all know, there are three basic influences on consumer behavior. There is environment, culture, and the individual's psychological makeup. For this presentation, we'll only cover 2 points, environment and culture, since the last part is covered by another group. All right, so let's dig down into the first one, which is the environment consumers behavior. It is one of the most important aspect of understanding what and why people buy things in the first place. First of all, we are all affected by everything that surrounds us. There can be friends, family, advertisements, trends, celebrities, prices, experiences, and of course, perceived status. By this, we may not fully understand what this text means, but luckily, I have some picture examples to share. If you take a look, there's two pictures in here, but let's start with the first one. Let's say the guy on the left is your friend or your cousin, and he comes up to you and says, "Hey man, check out this, check out my new console. It's pretty cool, right?" And then like the two on the right, we might be gasps or feel the urge to get one ourselves. And then the right one is another example. That could be like your celebrity, but this one, this is Leo Messi showing off his brand new pair of shoes, and like we oh my goodness, I'm really excited and can't wait to try it. And then like we want to be like him, so that is another example. So to sum up, basically, all those factors add up to the environment in which we live, and it is the reason why um, consumers buy things in the first place. While we can take a look at another example, which is the family life cycle. Here it is. Well, this one is also important. This is pretty important as well in part of our environmental stage. It represents how people move from being independent to being interdependent, and then back to being independent, and then later on they passed away. It's similar to living from a young age to old age and then eventually passed away. So as you can see, there's about 7 stages. There's bachelor stage, newlyweds or newly married couple, fullness 1, fullness 2, fullness 3, emptiness, and solitary survivor. Let's start off with the first one. The first stage is the bachelor stage. It represents consumers who have recently gained independence and credit for the first time. As a result, they tend to spend freely and feeling entitled to their freedom and wanting things that their parents could not give them. Let's say, for example, we don't want to burden our parents with bills or money. We decided to find a proper job to cover our own expenses. At this period, we tend to spend things that we favoritize, such as favorite foods, brand new devices like new iPhone, new tablet, whatever, and so on. Basically, the things that you like or you love. And then the next stage is the newlyweds. This one represents young couples, but no children yet. So let's imagine like as soon as they get married, what do they do next? They may move to somewhere new, right? And then they move to a new apartment. but their apartment field is filled with nothing. So what they have to do now, they have to fill their new apartment, the new place with uh, furnitures, mortgage payments, cars, or um, renovating the kitchens and so on. Well, the good news is that both partners may benefit from sharing their incomes. However, their expenses also double as well. Thus, they have to overspend things as being accustomed to being a married couple. So the next stage is the fullness one. This indicates spending as a family with children. At this point, they stop spending things on themselves, but instead provide for their children. This includes like clothes, diapers, baby furnitures, um, uh, such as like cribs and baby walkers, and so on. The next stage is fullness two. Um, this one marks a time when the children that they raised grew up, grew older, and then they became less expensive. Now they no longer need diapers or baby furniture. At this stage, the parents have to do whatever they can to help themselves out, such as replacing the household appliance and furnitures and so on, just to help themselves out. The next one is fullness three, which is when children reach their peak expenses. Uh, in this particular period, parents have to do whatever they can or sacrifice, for their child well-being. There can be the education. There can be uh, the food that they have to, provide for them. Like I said, for their well-being, and of course, they have to give their children some pocket money. The next one is emptiness. So this stage occurs when the children become independent adults, or when they grew older and then they started to live by themselves. At this point, the parents goes back or return to being independent, but also close to retirement. They may work for several years to reach their earnings and to recover from the financial commitments of providing for their children. With only like a few working years left, they might have to start treating themselves with things that they enjoy. Let's say like buying a brand new car, a brand new TV, um, a brand new bag, or whatever. The things that they like. And the last one is solitary survivor. This one happens only when your partner or your spouse passed away, leaving the other to live alone. And then at this particular period, there's an option for us, like to remarry or to live independently with various decisions. Uh, but the most concerning is that in the last period, the most concerning thing is that how long the savings from our previous job will last. And in this stage, the expenses tends to focus on like medical costs, clothing, and travel. Um, so yeah, I think that's all for family life cycle. That's all from me. I've done my part. So the next part will be culture, and one of my teammates Sereyrith will cover on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicheka, for passing the floor to me. Greetings, lecturer and everyone. My name is Sereyrith, and for the first point of my part, It is culture and consumer behavior. So, what is culture? Culture is the culmination of the knowledge, values, and belief which defines a particular group of people at a specific time and place. As we all know, culture is constantly evolving and changing through time. Who we are, what we believe, what we want out of life, our view of justice, fairness, appropriateness are all the result of the culture we live in. So, every country has its own culture, made up of numerous subcultures. These subcultures, such as ethnic, demographic, and societal class cultures, influence who we are, what we believe, and how we behave. While there are traits specific to countries like the US, Japan, or India, subcultures within these nations create diverse and complex identities. Geographic cultures like Japan's collectivist society that value teamwork tend to remain stable over time. This contrasts with the Western individualistic cultures that emphasize personal achievement. For example, in the US, individual contribution are prioritized, while in Japan, group efforts are more valued. However, cultures do evolve. For instance, China and India both are moving towards capitalism, which promotes individualism, but these changes are slow. Despite economic shifts, China is still fundamentally a collectivist society, and deeply rooted cultural traits may take hundreds of years to fully change. So, does culture really affect consumer behavior? And the answer is yes. Culture significantly impacts consumer behavior. In modern Western cultures like the US, there's a focus on what's new. Products are often discounted for the latest trends, which reflects a highly mobile society. In contrast, cultures like the Germans take a long-term view. When building a house, they say it's for their great-grandchildren, and this reflects a more permanent mindset. So moving on to the next point, which is marketing to the global audience. So mark, marketing to the global audience isn't just about multiplying your local marketing efforts by the number of countries you're selling in. Assuming that consumers in China or India will use or like your product for the same reasons as those in Germany or France can be a huge mistake. In fact, failing to tailor your marketing to each local market could result in a significant losses. So, should all products use global brand marketing? Marketers love the idea of the global brands. The thought of selling one product to more than 6 billion people with the same packaging and advertising excites many companies. Some global brands like Marlboro, Coke, and Microsoft have been successful in doing so. But for other products, significant adjustments are necessary for each market. For example, a laundry detergent with bleach might be popular in markets where cleanliness is a top priority. However, in the environmentally conscious regions or places with limited water resources, this could be a disaster. To effectively market globally, it's essential to understand each culture's values, habits, and market conditions. And for another example of how culture affects marketing is McDonald's in the 1990s. When the company introduced the drive-thru in Germany, customers lined up, ordered, pick up their food, and then pull over to the side of the road. Rather than eat in their cars like Americans might, Germans set up tables and chairs from their car trunks and ate outside. In German culture, eating in the car was seen as disrespectful to the meal, the car, and driving safety. So that is the end of our presentation. Thank you for paying attention.
So once again, thank you all for your attentions, and this is the end of our presentation. Um, well, if you guys have any questions, you can leave it down below the comment, or you can ask directly when this is being displayed during class time. Thank you.